Hello, and welcome. Today, well, it's been a while, isn't it? I don't remember last time I was streaming, but today we're gonna play with lasers. Why? Because I've got sent some lasers to build, which is a laser engraver, and you can admire my new elaborate setup, which, to be honest, I'm slightly worried that I'm not going to fit on that desk, because that's a very tiny desk, and that's the only desk I could kind of swing around in last minute. So, anyway, today we're going to build a laser engraver from Ortur. Ortur Master 2, which is, to be exact. Yeah, so that has been sent to me so I could build and hopefully burn some stuff in the near future, but first it needs to be assembled. And I thought, what's a better way of assembling it than on a live stream? And I already made the first mistake, leaving my drink on the far side of the stream. I even automated some streams so you could actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, one of the things that I can do now is like this. I don't know if that's gonna work, but let's hope it will. Oh, that I think that actually worked. Maybe no, it didn't. Come on, yeah, be a good camera. Hey, there you have. I have some basic gesture controls with this camera, can follow me anywhere I go. But anyway, let's go back to the default zone, and that's what we're going to be playing with. So hopefully you'll see enough on here. So the laser engraver itself comes in two different boxes. The link to that is in the description, and you can access that if you want. But I think this is a kind of thing for rolling things, so you can roll stuff like cans and like handles and glasses and engrave on that. And there is an engraver part itself, which is currently on the floor. So first we're going to start with a small box, because it's a small box. I can move it aside. So yeah, let's do that. You can see I could, yeah, finally I don't have to look for I actually spent some time looking for shortcuts so I could do stuff like that. Well, anyway, let's start opening this up. So as you can see in here, I have a couple of things. First, those are rollers. I think they're kind of they're heavy. It's actually quite heavy. This is some sort of silicone, but it's a really heavy silicone, and it's kind of difficult to open. So yeah, I'm not going to need that. I'll clean up later, don't worry about it, guys. So how are you doing? Just leave me comments in the chat. I can see the chat from here. I've made it super big, so I can actually see what you guys are saying. If anyone can confirm that the audio is good, that'll be even greater. But for now, let's take out some stuff. Ooh, there's lots of bearings, and there's a lot of small bits. And I can see some tensioning belts. I'm not going to need the box. And some small bits in here. There's a bracket, so you go Ortur, a logo in here, great. I'm just gonna lay it down so you could see what you're actually getting. Hey, there is even a user manual, yeah, I might not even get lost in production. Probably I want to move the mouse somewhere that I can still have access to it and it's not going to disturb me, so I'm just maybe gonna put it in here on. Now the camera is going to be showing the mess of the webcam. I'm going to be talking about this webcam at some point, so if you're interested. And there's some black MDS as well. And there is a stepper motor in, right? So this is the attachment that's going to look like something like this, and it will allow you to roll things around while you engrave it. So that's a good thing. And you can see all those bits that go into it. They are kind of laid out on the table. You should be able to see it just fine. And I will try to get my drink, because I know sooner or later, from all of the talking, I will actually run out of saliva. Ooh, my back is still bothering me, so if I'm gonna make some random noises, please forgive me, guys. I hope you're doing so much better than me. So the main thing is obviously in this big box there's new son-offs I'm going to be talking about soon. So yeah, guys, can't talk about some of the son-off stuff that they've sent me, so you want to stick around. Oh, so this is the big box. Well, it kind of fits on the table, which is a good thing, which means I will be able to assemble it in one direction. But first we're going to do the small attachment, and then we're going to move to the big stuff. So we already took the rollers out. There's some stuff that's gonna go onto it. So a couple of wheels, which you can recognize from 3D printers, a couple of belt drivers of the different sizes. Basically, laser engraver is a simplified 3D printer. You don't have a Z-axis. You kind of do have a bit of a management to focus the laser, but everything happens in X and Y axis. So that's the main difference. Now in here we have a bit of a aluminum profile. This is 10 by 20. Very familiar. It's something that is on the printers here. Can I like do this? Yeah, see? I can show you my printer setup like this. I kind of start to like this camera for live streaming, even though it's not 60 frames per second. And we have some stuff that we can connect. So there's a couple of cut-out brackets. They are made from kind of plastic, maybe acrylic. I don't know. Maybe this is acrylic bits. Maybe we'll investigate this. And some cable, which is 4 strands to direct a stepper motor. So that's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 bearings with a flange. So let's get them out. And they are brackets. So let's take the brackets. Those are metal brackets, and they're not acrylic. You can actually hear them clang. I don't know. Has any of you have a engraver? And if you do you use it for something specifically? I have a couple of ideas in mind, mostly for decorations. But yeah, engravers are cool. It's like a kind of like a light core laser cutters. I don't know if I will be able to cut stuff like a thin balsa or something like that, but we'll find out. I hope. And a bag of goodies, which are nuts, bolts. There is a spanner. I should probably get some more tools because I only have my trusty ES21, but just in case I'm gonna reach out and get my big tool set. Ooh. Hey, nothing actually dropped down, which is nice. So do these, this is a kind of nice, I can do it like this. This is kind of nice. Tools check from Vera. I love it. So it might come handy. Okay, I guess we can start build this thing. Like obviously those are kind of like side things. There's a couple of different holes that you can use to slot things in. I guess those rollers kind of like gonna go in here, etc., etc. So we need to find out where the well, we don't have to find out. There's only one way to kind of screw that in, which is this hole bracket in here. For the most part, I can just look at the small picture in here. I can kind of will be able to see. I think you'll be able to see. So I'm gonna use that for reference. Or should I just like follow the instructions this time? Let's maybe follow the instructions, because there's a couple of other things to build and I don't want to keep it longer than necessary. Now the chat is incredibly quiet, even though people are watching, so don't be shy, say hi. So I could say hi personally back to you. My favorite screwdriver in my Porsche case, which we're going to be using. This is ES121. I love doing this. It does not get boring. So let's find screws. It's going to be M3 screws probably. And they're going to be a Phillips head. So let's pick a nice Phillips head that's not going to skip. And let's mount the stepper. It doesn't use any washers. Okay. Oh, this is too small. Unfortunately, I need to get a bigger Phillips head. This one might be slightly too big. I have more ends than this is kind of my most typical rooster of ends. I have more of them, but I should reconsider which ones I'm using for Phillips, because I only have a couple of them. Oh, this is a perfect size actually. That makes it super simple and super quick. So this is one of my favorite tools, honestly, to work with anything, because it's so easy and quick to do machine screws. It might not have a torque for, for more advanced stuff, but it just saves you those extra precious seconds, and it's just fun to use. So each time you have a screw, it's actually joy to use rather than being tedious. All right, so we have a stepper motor. Now it tells us to do some lock. I knew that was an EMA 17. So it tells us to do a bearings. So we're going to be building this. Now something tells me I already made a mistake because I've attached that from the other side. So much for listening to instructions, guys. This is me we're talking about. That's what I do. At least I looked at it, because I would end up with a holding this part, wondering what the hell have I done. So if you're gonna make a mistake quick. So that should be going from this. And just to make sure, the cable actually goes to the side. So let's not make that mistake again. So the cable is on the side. If we're going to use instructions, we might as well look at it carefully and make sure we are following them. So you know me, guys, me and instructions. I feel adventurous. I mean, like, if you're gonna use lasers, you probably want to read the instructions, but for the most mechanical parts, I feel that I like to live my life dangerously. At least that's the plan. Right. Okay. We've got that nailed. Now we're gonna need lock nuts, 2 M5 screws. So those are the M5 screws, right? We're gonna need these ones. So they go like this. And then they use lock nuts to be tightened. Okay, so that's why you've got that silly little wrench, which is here. So does it have to go through? It goes through hole after it, so I didn't shoot myself in the head just yet. So I need to figure out the most efficient way of doing it. Probably like this. So the lock nut's gonna keep the bearing in place, so we can actually move stuff on top of it. It's actually slipping on this. This is not a true M5. Do I have, I think there is a 7mm M5? 8mm. Yeah, I should have done that straight away because it's much easier. And there you have it. Okay. We have a rolling in here, and then we have a spacer. Now, there is a nut and there is a spacer. Let's assume this is, they mean an actual washer, not a spacer. And then we're gonna do this, so one on the slot. So there's a slot in here, so one's gonna go here. Is there anything on the other side? There is no space on the other side though. Okay. We're gonna roll with it, we're gonna trust them. And we're gonna repeat the same thing with a long one, long M5, 2 flanged bearings, and then we're gonna put that into a nylon nut. If I'm gonna find one, and there it is. Nice. Now we have my 8mm socket wrench. Yeah, I can actually use that really nice, really cool attachment. Because why not? Let's be fancy. I know I can hold it in hands, but it gives me a pleasure to use proper tools from time to time. So like this. There you have it. And now just need to lock it in an other direction. That sounds fantastic. It's probably, yeah, just about the torque needed to actually do with the nut. So my screwdriver isn't powerful enough to overcome the lock nut, but that's fine. Okay, and we're gonna add the spacer as per instructions, and that's gonna go into the hole which is next to it, which is this one, and we're gonna complete that with M5 knot. Okay, let's tie this, tighten that. Alright, and we have an assembly like this, which is the first step. The second step is to add this, and that goes, see, it goes here, like that. So these are the holes, they're supposed to be pre-drilled or something, I guess, and we're gonna use these screws to do it, like that. So let's do that, and let's grab my screwdriver. Nice. Secure that in place, feels nice and sturdy. And now we can look on the other side and do exactly the same thing. So let's get the bracket. And let's put the, another 2 M5 screws, the shorter ones. And they go in here, like this. And we are close to actually having the frame done. Yeah, look at this little machine. It's beautiful. We can roll all sorts of things, I guess. So those are probably tensioners for the belt, I think. Yeah, are they? Let's have a look. Yes, those are tensioners for the belt. I was correct. The next step in our thing is to add drivers and driving pulleys to these. So we have a bearing, a flange bearing on the long side. Then we're going to add one of those. Which ones? Okay, so one uses this one, and the bearing is kind of goes into the hole. Now this is just a paper which we can remove from it to reveal nicely polished edges. So let's do that really quick. Ah, look at this. Now it's gonna look quite neat, I think. And you'll be able to roll stuff at certain speeds. Okay, so it goes like this, and then it's being capped by nothing else, just a pulley, and the pulley has in here group screws, 2 group screws to be tightened. Right, I'm gonna use the Allen key provided. I could swap it to my tool, but it's just quicker right at this point. So let's do that really quick. Probably want to have it quite close so it doesn't wobble too much. I'm gonna make adjustments if needed. So yeah, that's one side, and that uses the triangle one, and the other side, on the other side, it uses the same profile, so they're kind of like this pyramid shape or triangle one according to instructions. Let's see if so guys, tell me how you are doing. Much this weekend? It's actually my holiday, so I'm absolutely loving it. I'm gonna have a week of work after fighting robots. If you want to see robots fighting to death on Monday, I'm gonna have some special links for you to share, and you will see the biggest thing I've been working for the last week. I spent 70 hours editing in total, and it's gonna be a nice video plus 360 videos of fights and classical videos of robot fighting in arena. So if you're interested in something like that I've put together, then I would strongly recommend you to watch it. So on the other side, it's just bearing and nothing else. Now it snaps together, but it's still kind of, you can kind of remove it. I don't know if that's intention, but let's leave it at that for now. Let's don't worry about it. It doesn't look like there is anything to seal it on the other side. So let's work with the other one, exactly the same. So get your bearing on it, then we're gonna use those long ones, those kind of like slot designs. Literally peeling the paper is gonna take the longest time of anything that we need to do today. So one of the things you can do, you can roll the glass, like there's instructions, you can roll kind of Cokes and make someone, you know, like the Coca-Cola had a series with a, what's it called, with the names on the cans. So that's exactly what you could do with a laser engraver. So, oh, you can upgrade it to some really powerful laser if you're brave and do something more with it. So this, and then pulley, just this one, and secure it with a group screw. That's 2 group screws. Nice and tight. 1 and 2. And the same from the other side, just put the bearing in and do the paper bits again. Next week I have a lot of content coming out. I'll be very busy working on it. So we're going to be talking about some cameras, about new Zigbee devices. We're going to be talking about new Sonos devices that I have. There is a review for some, probably going to finish a review for my drone, which I've been postponing forever, and a couple of other things. Okay, so now that we have this, we can screw that into here. So the long ones with the double screws goes in here. So let's do that. I wish that was a slightly better mounted because it kind of feels loose. They could resolve it better. So it uses M5 nuts and those 2 things. So you have to prepare these, I guess, a little bit, so you could have an easier time. So like that, with the nuts. Building stuff like this is quite relaxing, I think. There's the other nut here. Alright. That's in place now, so it's going to be easier to do it on the other side. So 2 short bolts. I'm lacking dexterity. Ah, okay. It's in. Right, and 2 M5s. So let's do that really quick. Ah, my fingers. 1. And 2. Now we can use my super extra wrench to make sure this is nice and tight. Cool. Same on the other side. This is going nowhere. Okay, that's good. Right, the other side, this one goes. It's a good question. So the other one, you can kind of slot it in and out. So what you have to do is you have to take it's a good question. Which way are they using? They show 12mm screws. So these ones, right? Those are 12mm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And they just go like this with M5 on the other side. And they kind of go like here. So let's quickly slot them through. And we're gonna have almost this ready, and then we can move to the big thing, which is the laser engraver itself. Hello Keith, how are you doing? Well, okay. The screwdriver is called ES121. Now my keyboard is on. Can I get a keyboard in here? Let's see. Ooh. If I accidentally gonna end this stream, that's gonna be quite embarrassing. Ooh. That's how old age sounds like. So I have a keyboard here. I have a mouse. I can do stuff now. Okay. So this is ES121. And if you Google, if you go to NotEnoughTECH and type in ES121, you'll see the complete review for this. That way, it's not a cheap one. This is about $60 to $70, which is a bit to spend, I'll admit it, but honestly, I absolutely love this thing. There is also a wow stick, which is slightly different. It costs only about $20 most, and it has the same torque. It's slightly slower, and it doesn't have a motion activation. It has a button activation. So if you still want to cool screwdriver without spending that much money, then go for that one instead. And there are a couple of versions, one with a battery, with the batteries, and one with the integrated battery inside with a charger. I'm very good as well. Well, apart from my back, I'm very good, and I'm very happy. So I'm glad you are well. Cheers to that. Going back to this one, let's quickly do the other side. This screw is going to be on the outside, right? And the nut's on the inside. So let's do it really quickly. Now I'm not going to tighten the screws as much because in theory going to be moving this, so we could work with different circumferences or diameters of stuff we're going to be engraving. So this is done, so that goes like this, and then you kind of just put it in here. I wish they did it slightly different, because you'll have to rejig this, put it inside, and then tighten. So changing circumference is going to be a bit of a, maybe not an issue, but wish it was easier. I guess it's nothing that 3D printer cannot fix, right? Right. I'm trying to slot that in place, but it feels like it's a little bit short, a little bit tight, just a tiny little bit tight. Because I have a bit of an angle, I think I should put this at the same time, because the angle I've created, it kind of messes it up, right? Ah, there you have it. Ta-da! Now we have a roller skates. Alright, I'm not going to tighten this up just yet. Second thing that the next thing that we have to do is to add this. We did the screws, we did this. We're gonna add the timing pulley to a stepper motor. So you have to watch the orientation, because this is D-shaped, so the grub screw should be on the flat side, so you could secure it properly. If you don't do it, it will slip eventually, and then you are in trouble. Now obviously you want the height of it to be aligned with your bearings, so I'm gonna do it in a second. Right now I'm just gonna tap it. Then I know already that mine is way out, so I'm just need to push it a little bit closer. There are actually two group screws to bear in mind, so somewhere here would work fine. So first I'm gonna tighten this on the flat side, and then I'm gonna secure it from the top with the second group screw. That way it's gonna be nice and neat. Right, cool. Now we're moving to this fancy little thing, which will be doing something else. Not sure yet what. Well, actually, they tell me to put the belt first. So let's do the belt. Now, to install the belt correctly, you have to do it like this, like that, like this, and that goes like this. So this is the correct installation, and then you use this one to tighten it. So let's tension the belt. Okay. Make sure the belt is nicely slotted into everything. Now, if the belt isn't parallel, then it can slip. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to apply a little bit of tension and then adjust these to be in line with everything else. That's my plan. Okay, it's still a bit loose, but that's fine. I'm going to adjust it in a moment properly. Now I'll see if I have to move. That's okay. Do I have to move it out? No, actually that's quite nice. So I don't have to move it out. So I'm just going to tension it properly now. Perfect. I'll check it out the review. Yeah, cool. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. I have a review. Actually, I have a video that shows how quickly you can run the speeds with different screws on both versions, the version DS21 and the wow stick itself. Okay, now it's tensioned. So now when I rotate this, everything rolls. Now that there is additional support, which is this one. If you're doing what's it called? If you are doing glasses, like wine glasses, then you can use that. So let's give it some wheels. And to do the wheels, we're probably gonna have these two long ones. Yeah. And do they ask you to use the nuts? Probably not. So I think they should be using these ones, the spring on that, so you don't untie itself. So I'm just going to put the spring washers on it. That's one. That's second one, and we're nearly done with this. Okay, so this is for our wine glasses, and let's tighten this. Just check if the wheels are rotating, and the same when you do that when you do that on the 3D printer. Yeah, just make sure they should be nice and tight, no play, but they should freely rotate. If you have any other experience, then there's something wrong. Okay. Roller baffle. What's the baffle for? So this and this piece in here, this is kind of just standoff to keep that a little bit out of the way. So we're gonna put it together, even though I'm probably not going to use it right now on any glass. I'm tempted to do wine glass, do a design on the wine glass right now. And this uses these kind of thumb screws. So they go here, two of them, right? And you have a couple of different slots in here that you can use. So obviously, depending on what you're doing, you'll have to rejig this. I'm just going to put it in the default locations for now because, well, I want to have whole parts together. So that's the goal, but we nearly finished here. So this is just a support so your wine glass don't roll. You have to keep that nice and parallel. Okay, cool. And we have a baffle. I don't know what the baffle is for. Maybe it's just protecting stuff from being rolled out from the rollers or something. But we have 2 screws in here, the tiny bits, and they screwed into it, so they go from this side to here, like that. And again, you can use that or whenever you want. I'm just gonna put it in here just because, again, I don't want to look for the parts later on. So I'm just going to put it in here right now. And that concludes, that's our baffle. Ta-da! We're done! And we have legs, guys. We even have legs. This is so posh that we have legs. Is it? I mean, that's clearly not the legs for the, maybe this, no. What are the legs for then? Where do they go? Where did they came from? Is it for here? Let's consult the instructions. No, I don't see where to put these legs in. Non-slip pads. Okay, well, I'm not going to put them anywhere. Right, so we have one of the devices ready. Obviously, we have to connect the stepper motor. So, just gonna plug the cable in, and that's gonna be in sync with our engraver machine. So this is the first bit, which is a roller. And since we're done, I'm just gonna clean up my workstation a tiny little bit, put the stuff away, and we're gonna start with the big stuff. And the big stuff, I'm just gonna be removing it bit by bit, otherwise I'm gonna quickly run out of space, and that's not good, because it's only a tiny table. Yeah, I like this tool set. Just check it out, how cute it is. Ta-da! Okay, moving on. Let's start bringing stuff out. Cheers. So this is what we're building. It's Ortur Laser Master 2 Pro. We have instructions. There's plenty of instructions in a couple of languages. Then we have certificate of it's being types laser safety glasses. We have glasses with it. There's another certificate of CE marking. That's interesting. And another certificate. This is certificate CE marking and focusing instructions. Okay, so we have a lot of paperwork to go through. Let's put this beautiful rolling attachment aside, which I made myself, and let's get the parts out. Ooh. Right, I'm just gonna be taking it out as I go. So we have safety specs, obviously. You're dealing with lasers, guys, so I mean, how cool I am. Very cool. So safety specs are important. We have a cable to connect it. It's USB-B cable. Why USB-B cable? We have, what else we have? We have some goodies. We have some brackets. We have more brackets. It's gonna be a lot of brackets. We have even more brackets. We have a power supply. We have the laser itself. And we have a bag of test goodies. We have a chain link. We have some extrusion 10 by 10. We have more extrusion 10 by 10. So a lot of things inside. And we have that's a gantry with a stepper motor. Be careful, there is a rod inside, you don't want to bend on that. And we have lastly motherboard, electronics and e-stop. Is that all? Okay. So let's organize our workspace slightly. So I'm gonna just move the extrusions aside right now, and the cable chain link as well, and gantry, and unpack everything else. That's the plan. So instructions, I'm gonna get back to you in a second. So let's take out the motherboard. So you're gonna have your USB port and your controller, offline controller, reset power, flame alarm, and emergency stop. Okay. Cool. So that's one. We have a USB cable. I'm just not going to use it right now. Same with power. Not going to need it. Power is a DC jack, by the way. 2 amps, 24 volts. We have a laser unit. Ooh. Don't look directly at the laser, guys. So this is the laser. How much wattage do we have? It's 450 nanometers, and this is 50 watts. No, max input of the laser diode laser module. It's 4543. It's 20 watts for laser. Is it? No. Sorry, 15 watts. The maximum luminous power is 5 watts, sorry. I see it now. That was power consumption, but the power itself is 5 watt laser. So you'll be able to do some engraving, maybe even cutting through some stuff, which is exciting. Maybe. Don't get excited. No. So let's get the brackets, and let's get more brackets. These brackets have some switches, so probably stop. We have nuts and bolts and another spanner to throw it in my works. And we have some thumb screws and some aluminum, whatever that is. And we have in here timing belts and some brushes. There should be a fire extinguisher kit as well, probably. Okay, and some test stuff. Oh, this is actually 3D printed. It's a decent print. Think it could be. I think it's PLA, maybe ABS. These are probably test materials. So there is like a couple of wood pieces, and this is a thin foil or something like that. I think it's very thin metal. I don't know. We have a couple of zip ties, so let's put the zip ties into side, and some timing belts, 2 timing belts, as far as I can tell. So now we should be able to start building this. Now I'm going to move the mouse aside. Not going to need the mouse. Safety specs, it's fine. I'm not going to be connected, so I don't have to look that cool, and I have to see what I'm doing. And at some point I'm going to reach out for this unit. So let's bring the paperwork, especially the instructions. We're not interested in certificates right now. And so this is how it's going to look like. It's clearly not going to fit on my table. We'll improvise. Right. So we have to take out the extrusion pieces from the bags. They also have meter guides on them, which is nice. So you can tell how big is the area you're working on. So that's going to be handy because obviously it's not going to measure the area. If anything, you're going to end up with really a nice posh set of rulers. Okay, so that's going to tell you basically how big is your working area, so you could know where to align it. Now, scale. Right, I'm reading instructions. We have a couple of these corners which are different. We have a couple of those are feet. Ah, that's how we can do the rubber fit on the other, you know, the, what's it called, on the roller. You just the rubber feet that they wrap around the legs. Okay, so we're gonna add them. So scale mark up, scale mark 0 on this side. Okay. Corners connectors. Now the corner connectors, it's not the these ones. Okay, it's fair enough. So those are corner connectors. We're gonna need 2 of them. Scale mark 0 like this. So one goes in here. So is the actual connectors? They should be up, right? I think they should be like this. So one is like this, right? One is like this, like that. The 0 is on the side. Now those are shorter ones, those are long ones. 2 short ones. So I think this is a top one or side one? This is a long one, right? So this is a top or bottom one. And these gonna be like so. So this is okay. So what you have to do is you have to pay attention to on what side the numbers are. You want the numbers to be on the outside of your frame, and you want your reference to be on the inside. So that's basically what I did. The only thing that would make this nicer if that was oriented in the correct way. So in the top one it's like this. These numbers should be upside down, and these numbers should be like normal way. But other than that, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We can build it now. So you have to 5 those tiny screws will. Oh no, there's a group screw inside. So since we have a group screws inside, and I want to use my tool. And that way, we can just. Oh, this is too big. Let's do a small one. This one. We can secure this like this, and it kind of stays in place. There will be some room for adjustments, I guess, at some point, but right now I'm just gonna build a really fragile base and do adjustment in a second. Kind of like just gonna put it together, put the square together and hope for the best. That is what I'm going to do, because obviously we will have to make sure this is square, so the gantry travels correctly. So let's do that for the other side. Hope you can see anything I'm doing in here right now. Okay, so first mistake, that's gonna go up and that's gonna go inside. So the longer pieces are on the outside, and shorter pieces are on the inside. See? which means you probably, is it even possible? No, the corners will prevent me from doing so, so I can only do it this way. So that means that this has orientation. You can only do it one way, the slots, otherwise they won't slot in. So yeah, you have to pay attention to how your inside bits are being put in. So there is, I'll show you now. There is it matters which direction this goes in, because in one way, if you slot that in, you'll be able to move it, but this way, these wings in here will prevent you from moving. So you have to, like I did in here, I can't move it inside. I have to change the orientation for this part, like that. That way I can move it inside. See? So now when I use this part, is that on the inside, right? I think that goes on the inside. I can just lock it in place. Like I said, I'm only just tapping, I'm not doing anything, because I'm gonna do it properly once all pieces are assembled. So this one needs to be moving inside, so that's fine. So I can just, and I'll show you in a second how it is assembled fully. Okay, and now we have a really nice photo frame. Okay, again, just only gonna tap it. I'm not going to check the angles here or do anything else. Just make sure that it's not going to fall apart on me. All right. Okay, so that kind of is in place. So if you see now, you'll notice that all the scale markings are on the inside, which I think what they wanted. Now this is still very play and stuff like that, but this is where those corner brackets go in. And we're gonna be, so scale mark 0 up, scale mark 0 front. Okay, I think I did it okay. This instruction could use a kind of like a close-up to show you how it's supposed to be put together. But now that we have this, they suggest that we're gonna put the gantry in. So let's take out the gantry. The gantry has all the steppers and everything. And those things are rolling onto it, so like this. So let's figure out which way this should go. There's this, yeah, it should go this way. So I don't think I'll be able to roll it like this. Do I have to like remove this bit and slot that in? I think that's the way to do it, guys. Yes, they even show you this, maybe, kind of. That's what I'm going to do. So everything's a little bit delicate to do, but okay, let's try to put that back on it. This is completely other direction, guys. That's why it's not matching. So they're using, obviously they're using these ones. Don't roll anywhere. Don't roll anywhere, come on. Silly me. They're on the other other direction. So again, I'm only just going to clamp it. I'm going to realign everything in a moment. So this is a wrong orientation. So let's get it into a correct orientation, which is 0. Where's the 0 then? Front. Did I do it? I did this incorrectly, because it should be like this. Now, 0 should be, no. So if I'm gonna put this one here, the 0 is gonna be here, numbers on the right side. Okay, so I think I've made a mistake. Can I just, yeah, I've made a mistake, guys. So this is correct. The left and the right side need to be swapped. So this is correct. And so I need to take this one, and that's gonna go here, like this, and this one, and that's gonna go here like this. And now we're rolling, guys. Hopefully. Yeah, that's the one. Nah, don't move. That's gonna end up in a massive mess in a second, I think. I'm gonna drop something, and it's gonna be fun. So okay, now that we have that, so let's align it again. When you try to do the group screws, it actually pulls the aluminium extrusion out a little bit. Well, it's okay. It's okay, I can do this. Oh, so. Right, okay, now that it's reasonably stable, I can drive this in onto the side profiles. Come on, I said I can drive this in. You have to do it parallel, otherwise it struggles a lot. Okay, come on. Ah! Alright, now you can see it yourself. Ah! So this is 40 by 40 centimeters. Try to keep it balanced. Right. Obviously it's wonky as hell right now, but because it isn't aligned in any shape or form, which we're gonna fix in a moment. But we have something. Now we're gonna use the corners. So these are the corners. The bottom has been kindly marked out. Just need to figure out on which corner they go. So it looks like they're going to go like this. I know it's slightly outside, but in order to do these corners, we need to put these ones in. And we need spaces, right? Base anchors. So, like this. Anything else missing? No, not really. We're going to be using M5 base anchors and some spaces on these ones. So let's get spaces. The spaces go in the right corners. And there are two types of anchors that we have, the big one and the small one. And I need to figure out which one we're going to use. Either this one or this one. So we have 6 of these, and we have 2 only. 2 of these, so I don't think they're gonna be the small one. I think they're gonna be the big ones. So let's do the corners first because they're easy. It helps when I have a Phillips head, right? Not a hex one. I had it somewhere here. Here. So yeah. Expect a bit of fuffing with this. Well, that's what it takes. Right now I'm just gonna secure the corners kind of like, you know, with the one wonky screw and spacer or washer. And then we're just gonna try to slot in the anchors inside the NDS and the aluminium profile, and then we're gonna take it from there. Alright, so we have one side. Let's flip that over to the other side. See, it's like this. I know you can't see it really on the main camera, but I'm kind of struggling to fit that onto. Let's go glass. Make ourselves a little tiny bit more space. Okay, so 2 more brackets. They're going to be quicker. So that's the leg. Where's the spacer? That's the spacer. It's actually quite relaxing. Well, I like building stuff. It's really pleasing. I don't know. Have you, like, if I have a printer or something, 3D printer to build, it's always a good time. Some people find it frustrating, but not me. Plus, it's a good way to learn how the thing is actually constructed, what the weak points are, and if something goes wrong, something doesn't work, it's easier to troubleshoot when you put it together. Something tells me I'm missing a washer right now. Okay, I'll do it without. Oh, there is no washer on the last one. Is there? Because I don't have a last one. Did I go ahead too much again? Ah, there's a washer. No. But I don't have a last leg. The last leg is going to be probably this, isn't it? Or something. Yeah, that's going to be my last leg. And that's why we have, no, they have 3 of those, not 4. Right. We need to consult the manual. So, this is clear. So back, this is the back, should have those 2 standoffs. I already know that I need to be borrowing one of those, and we're gonna be figure out which one in a second. Once we gonna find out, this is on this side, so we have to borrow this side, this side. Here, because this is where the unit goes, the thinking part goes there, in that corner. So again, not going to do anything major with this alignments just yet. Once I've got all the corners, I think it's going to be a tiny little bit easier to do all the alignments myself. Because the corner is going to keep it in place, and then I can redo the insides. this. And now I can do the insert knowing that it's not going to slide out. Be my slide in. So I need to do the anchors first, and those are the anchors to use. Now can I just slot them like from here? Let's see. I don't think I can. Like these ones I can just rotate, but well, I only have 3, so those are the ones I rotate. Okay, fair enough. So I'm trying to figure, because these ones I can't rotate, right? Because they're too big. These I can just slot them in, rotate inside, and they'll nicely close. And I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to base anchors. Let's see if they have a different name in here. M5 T knots 3, okay, and the bigger knots, profile knots 6. That's fine, the numbers, but which one go? So T knot goes they did tell us to do it. Damn it. Damn it. So yeah, you need to slot in 4 of them inside the long ones. Is it long ones? No, inside of here, 4 of them on the outside. So let's do that. Let's open one side. Let's get this one open slightly so I could slot in 4 of them. They only need a little bit, so it's easy to accommodate for that. Make sure you put them in the right way. I know you can't see this very well, but it's not the most exciting part of the build. 1, 2. So at the back we're just gonna be using only 2, I think, and then at the front we're gonna be using. So I'm just gonna drag that over to this side. Right. Now when I get one of the screws in here, I should be able to secure this in place, which is the plan. And then on the front I'm gonna need more of them because I have the big unit, right? At least that's what I think is the plan. I'll use Allen keys to kind of put them in place. Right, and now I can use the bolt to screw that in. Okay. And that's it. So on the back I'm only gonna need 2, and on the front I'm gonna need more. So I have already 2, so I can do that same thing on this side. Right. Let's move that in position, put another 5 screws, and we are getting there, guys. There's a couple of smaller bits, but the frame, once the frame's constructed, it kind of gets easy. Okay, so we have a back. Now let's rotate this 180 degrees and work on this bit. So this one needs 4. So I need to open the extrusion again frame, so I could slot in 4 slots. Right. And one part on the floor. Yeah, I'm surprised it took me that long actually to drop something on the floor. Usually stuff ends up on the floor more often. Okay, 4 of them in here. So one's gonna go all the way down to accommodate for the leg. So I can do it now and grab M5 screws and do this. use the aluminium, kind of align it slightly better, a little bit more. Right, I can close this one, and two gonna be used for the controller. I don't know what's the third one for, but we're gonna find out soon, I guess. Right, again, I'm not going to close the frame just yet. So, right. Now that we have this and the legs, and they tell us that now we should be taking the timing belts. Should we? So this has two timing belts that's gonna be like running like this, I guess, in some way. How do you... So the timing belt goes underneath this thing. So it goes from the top underneath the wheel and then just continues in a slot, and the end, on the end of each bracket there is a mounting point for it. So let's do that. There are two timing belts to do, so you can do it. Oh, this is tricky, guys. This is tricky. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than an hour to build this. Oh, like that. And the same on the other side. So it goes over the timing belt, over the pulley and under the legs or wheels. Okay, come. Easy peasy, right? I'm glad this part is assembled already, so we don't have to mess about with it. Okay, so we have timing pulleys, and they go, there is a bit in here. Do they tell you how to secure these? With M5 spaces, so that's what the spaces are for. Okay, so you have to do is undo the spacer right now. I'll take the screws completely out. It helps if you tighten the slot one to keep it kind of in place so it doesn't drop on you. Take the screw out. This is fiddly. Okay. Now there is a small slot at the end that you're supposed to drag the timing belt through. So let's try to achieve this. Okay. And now once you have that through, you can use your spacer and the bolt to align it and then secure it. So when it's screwed in, it stays in place. Yeah, okay, that worked. So let's do one side at a time, especially that one side doesn't have this. Right, so secure slot ones so they don't move. Undo these bits. Drive in the belt through. You have to take it out. It's easier when the and the leg is slightly rotated and it's out because you can get your belt quite tight. Right, and then put the screw in. So we're all learning as we go, right? And then secure with the screw, and that sits for you. Same with this side. Undo the bolt. Move this a little bit up. Drive it through. You don't have to drive it much. It's only like 0.5 centimeter, something like that. It's enough. And then lower this. And maybe a little. I've pushed the belt out a little bit. So let's add a tiny little bit more. Okay. Now we have this. There's a lot of slack that we're going to be working a second with, so that's not a problem for us. Especially that we probably want to align this, so you have to move it to the very bottom. So we have these ones, right? There is a stop that we need to mount, which tells us that you should do this on the end that doesn't have a leg. So the stop is here. So on the end that doesn't have a leg, we need to mount the stop. And the stop is being mounted to side, and it goes like this. It uses 2 screws. Like that. Okay, so this is quite important to align these bits to properly. So in order to do it, where's my screwdriver gone? Yeah. So in order to do it properly, we have to again loosen up that square in here. Can't find oh, there's my bit. So we have a tiny little bit play. Now this uses the T-slots, isn't it? I think. No? M5 profile nuts. Those are M5, those are T nuts. So what's the M5 profile nuts looks like? Are we just using literally these? Is it what are we using? Let's see. Okay, yeah, we're literally using just normal nuts. There are 2 of them, so that needs to go 1 on each side. So let's push that in. Let's find the other one, if possible. No, there's only 1. I'm confused, guys. Yeah, I'm really lost right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Now, this goes like here. No. Is it on the correct side? Yeah, it should be on this side, right? Because there's a limit switch on here. Now that indicates I kind of should go like this, but it doesn't fit really, like this. Yeah, I think so. But I don't know what I'm supposed to add here, because I only have a one knot. So let's see. Have I lost a knot? How many knots I supposed to have, and which one I supposed to use? There's only one M5 knot, and I'm using profile knots times 2. T knots, profile knots 6. Ah. But then they ask me to put, so I'm using these two. One, which makes sense, right? I swear they asked me to put 6 in there. 4. Ah, no, that's 2 along. Okay, I get it. So here. So now it's going to be easier because I can just do this and let's change the end, the fitting. Come on, Philipp said. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing now. So we're doing this like that. Again, that's going to be to correct it. So we're not going to go super harsh on the screws unless we're sure that this is the place that you want to end up with. Just enough that it doesn't move really without our invitation. Okay, that's enough. Oh, the belt should be going first, I think. So the belt should go underneath this, and I think this will hold the belt as well. Or maybe I'm incorrect. Or is it the belt going around the loop? Ah, yes, the belt. You see, this is the reason why this is not a round hole, because the timing belt goes into it. So let's do this. So that slots in as normal. Timing belt goes in here. Then we have M5 going here, and with spacer probably, is it? It doesn't mention the spacer. Okay. So, and that's all the one goes inside. Not as easy as this as I thought it's gonna be at first. It's a bit of a fuffling about. Okay, so we have a secured in a quotation mark, guys. Secured in a quotation mark. Okay. And then we can move this one kind of to inside. Like I said, those still not being super tight. Right. Okay, so we have now we're supposed to be mounting this. Okay. So there's a leg in here, those two, and they should be using 2 different slots. So there's a one, and honestly, one is here and one is slot. Okay, that's why. All right, that works. So this. This goes right here and just being screwed in. So let's do that with a correct end. Where's my Phillips again? Here. And M5 again on this side, which has a slot in it. So there's only 2 on the line as well. Yay! Okay, that's done. They say make sure the flame detector is not covered. It's not covered, it's here. That's good. There's a flame detector on it. Yeah, okay. Now we have cable loom fixing plate. one M5 T-knot, so we're going to use this one. And this is a cable tensioner that goes kind of here on this side. So let's try to orient this so we can kind of access it. So that goes here. And we need M5 through. Now, good thing about the T-nuts, once it's just you can screw that in a correct orientation, like this. Now put it inside, don't screw it all the way, but put it inside the rail and then twist it, and it should self-lock itself. Okay, we have this done. We're still not tensioning the belts yet. Cable loom fixing plate number 2, which is this one, and that goes onto a gantry. It doesn't really tell you which gantry side. I guess that goes here, because there's no other screws in here that I could use. So that's what we're gonna do. So we have 2 screws with a where's that gantry here? M3 5mm screws. The bottom head, I guess. So let's do this. And on which side this goes? That goes on the stepper motor side. So in here. I think it goes here at the bottom. So of course that would happen. Come on. I'm not having a greatest luck with this. Let's maybe change the orientation so I see it better. I'm risking dropping everything on the floor, but I'll be able to see it better. I'm just gonna move the cable. So again, M3 through. It's kind of hard to get an angle on that because there is a connector for the stepper. So one of the screws is kind of in an awkward position. Let's hope the other one's gonna be easier. Or maybe not. Okay, that's done. Next up, please unplug Y cable motor. Please plug Y cable motor and make sure the cable is long enough. Oh, so we're gonna start with a cables now. So we have this cable, and we have our chain link cable, which has a lot of different cables. So we're gonna be trying to figure out what to do with these. It's a nice kind of cable organizer inside this gantry. So now I have to figure out where this is going. So I guess this is going something like this, right? Now we need to figure out this is X, this is X, so that's going to be plugged in here. and this connector goes here, so I'm in a correct orientation. I'll probably want to move the connector all the way, so let's plug that in a controller first, so you know how much slack we have. Then we're gonna immobilize the chain link at the bottom. So for that we have those slotted ones. So let's do that. Not slotted ones, chamfered screws. So let's do that, so it would be nice and snug. Come on. It feels a bit tight. I want to make sure I'm doing it right, so I'm not going to... Let's see. Let's do the end first. That felt a little bit tight, and I like it, so I don't want to force it. But the chain link is supposed to go first before we start messing about with cables. Okay, it's a bit better on this side. So, one, not the plastic end, so be careful, don't over tighten these, because otherwise you're just gonna rip through the chain link plastic, and it's not going to be pretty, and you'll have to fix it. So my magnetic screwdriver isn't strong enough to hold the screw nicely, unfortunately. Come on. Ugh. No, that's gonna be more fiddly than I would like. Why are you not sticking inside? Ah, got you. Right, that's fixed. Now another 2 screws on the other side. I think you just need a little bit of force for this to go through the threads. That's all. Yeah. Okay. It feels like it puts up a bit of resistance, which I don't like it, but those are definitely the right screws. Right, the last one. It starts to look like something. It's definitely... I can unplug this right now to move it, because the cable is in place. And some spam decided to call me. That's definitely spam number, because I don't recognize it. Apologies for that. All right, so we're back on track now. Okay, I definitely need to tidy up this management one. So let's do this to make sure it doesn't move left and right. Okay, that should be better. All right, we're nearly there, guys. We are nearly there. I know it might not seem like it, but we are nearly there. So there's some connectors in here. This is for the X. There's some other stuff. This is for the to connect to your limit switch. Okay. So these are the connectors. We're gonna... Do they tell you to connect this yet? Red, black, red. Where's this going? All right. So I don't know where this is going yet. I think it goes somewhere in here, which means we should be actually looking into and connecting this. So it goes over this, right? And then you can decide how far it goes up and down with, I think, side screws. And there is this one with a focal guide, which is that round stuff, and that need to go where that's supposed to go. It uses these two slots, so 2 short screws again with 2 knots. So that'll tell you basically how far your laser is out. This is just, that's it. Put the T5s on it in a correct orientation. And that go in the front. So this is just a manual. Probably should have secured this one first, but that goes here. So you just do it somewhere here where you can access it easy and drop it on your platform and adjust the height. So let's do that really quick. Nice and solid. Ta-da! Probably not going to put it just yet, because when I'm gonna rotate this, it's gonna drop. I should really move this aside. I'm not going to use the brush. Don't know what that is here just yet, but we'll find out in a second. So now it's just more cable connectors. I'm good with this. We are on the last page, guys, which they're gonna tell us how to connect stuff. So I hope this is to adjust the laser, these long screws, in somehow. So we're gonna find out in a moment. I still have a couple of screws left, and a couple of I have these brackets, and I don't know where they're supposed to go. Did I miss that entirely? And that's they're called angle fasteners. I feel like I missed the angle fasteners step somewhere. Okay, so this long one goes somewhere in here to easily regulate the laser. Let's try to, is it just like, it just latches like this and locks the laser in place. Okay, that's easy enough. That's fine. I have no problem with that. All right, that travels in. Now, so that's done. I do have a 1 screw, 2 screws. Oh, that's from 2 sides. So okay, let's do it properly from both sides. So the laser is perpendicular to the surface. Nice. Okay. I still have to figure out where these goes. Are they like? No, they're not keeping this one. Any idea, guys? I'm just trying to. Okay, doesn't help that I'm on the German instructions. What are they called? Engell profiles, right? So aluminium profile, Engell. Engell fasteners. Engell fasteners. Engell fasteners. Engell fasteners. No, I don't see any Engell fasteners being used anywhere. I don't know. Thanks, Keith. I'm glad. I'm glad it's kind of just getting there slowly but surely. But I still don't know. So I have 4 Engell. Are they like feet or something, or to hold something like a surface? So I have 4 Engell fasteners. I have 4 screws that's supposed to be going into somewhere. I have one short one. I have a knot, and this, which I'm not 100% sure that is, and those are my spares. Now we need to figure out where it is all going. Okay, let's take a look at the big picture. Maybe we'll find them on the big picture. No, we don't see them on the big picture. So there's like something in here. There's a hole, which don't know if it's populated. This is the timing. This is to tensioner, belt tensioner for the gantry, right? Where else this can go? I honestly, guys, I don't know where my Engell fasteners supposed to go. There's something on top of it that looks like it could be, no, but it's nothing on the picture. Hello, Engell fasteners and my ball. I was left with extras. So according to instructions, I should say 4 of them, yes, and 4 long screws, which I do have. Now, do I have an assembly that I didn't connect somewhere? No. Not a clue. Not a clue right now when they are. Gonna read instructions again. No. No. Okay, so can work on the cable in a second, but now I think it's time to kind of make sure that my frame is square, right? So we're gonna work on our outside fittings and then use the inside ones to have everything nice and tight. I still have to tension the belts, so I'm just gonna do one side first, the front first. I pull back the Z-stop to kind of go that way. I think it's going to be on 0 on the scale in here. Now this is nice and tightened. I'm going to obviously cut that short in a second. So this side is done, so let's do the internal ones, make sure they are nice and tight and keep the frame stiff. So that way they shouldn't be really moving now. Okay. Same with this one. and this one. Okay, so now we can move to the front and we can do the belts. And after this, we're gonna have a 40 by 40. It's a kind of big laser engraver. So first, we need to do the belts. So to do the belts, we have to loosen it up. Oh no, you know what? Before we're gonna loosen it up, I'm gonna tighten this. Do the internal first, and then I'm gonna loosen it up, because that way the internal is gonna hold this in place. I think that's a better order of doing things. So those internal fasteners gonna keep the frame fairly squared. Even if I do undo the side outside ones. So I'm gonna do one at a time. I'm not gonna cut the belt just yet, just gonna make sure I have a nice tight I probably should move that to one side before I do that as well. So both timing belts kind of like in the same position. So let's do that. So let's do this to one end, right, all the way. Now pull on the belts. Nice and snug, not so they don't have to be very tight. So whatever you can do with your hands is going to be enough for this. So that side is done. Now we're going to do the other side. Okay, and now we can do the cables. And then I'll wonder what the fasteners are doing for. This is a focusing method. I still don't see the fasteners on here, that's fine. So let's move the spare bits aside, since we don't need them. And yeah, I have spares. And let's do the cables, right? So there's a couple of cable ties I have to manage as well. So let's maybe put it this way. So this is easy because they labeled L, X. X is obviously to X, and this is labeled as X. So simple, done. Now we have switch. I don't know which one is the red and yet. That's gonna go to my limit switch. We're gonna find out in a second which one. And this is a stepper motor cable, so that's Y. And we're gonna plug that into a Y axis. Nice. Now my main controller, nice and connected now. Feels snug. There's still two switches in here. I'm gonna figure out which ends they're gonna go to in a second. Now there is an extra loom that's gonna go to the laser engraver. So one goes here, and the other one goes on top here. Like this, so that's going to control the laser and deliver the power. And there is this yellow bit that we need to connect in a second and then manage the cable somehow. Can't believe there is no chain link in here to kind of drive this cable as well. Be nice, because that's not how it's supposed to be, isn't it? It's not nice. Okay. Maybe that's what the angle brackets are for. And let's check the other side. And the other side, I should be plugging the stepper motor. So this is a stepper motor here. It's just being plugged at the bottom. There's a nice cable management thing that we can use. Alright. Now we're gonna need a couple of zip ties. Yeah, for the most part, I'm happy. But there's a couple of zip ties that we should really use to secure this cable here. There's a nice slot that you can use for this. So let's do that. My zip tie is going on the wrong side. Come on! You can do it. We're nearly there, guys. In a second we'll be able to focus it and test it. Okay. So we have a zip tie. One. Just leave a tiny little bit slack so it doesn't really travel. Right, okay, that should be fine. So that's secured. Now we need to secure the chain link. So to prevent the cable from slacking, and the way you do it is my screws still needs to be tied down. They're quite difficult to screw in actually in here. It feels like it's not been, the part hasn't been, what is it called? What's the word for it? Threaded. Just gonna rest it on the table so I could put extra force in it. So it don't strip the screw itself. Okay, that sits in place, so I can use the zip tie now to secure this and secure these cables here. So now I need to double check what is the orientation of the switches. It's normally closed or normally open. They tell us this. So red goes on that side, but it doesn't really tell me whether it's going, it doesn't show whether it's going on 2 or, yeah, I think it goes, red goes on the number 2. Alright, and the black goes on number, according to picture, on number 3 for this switch. We can manage the things, but we're gonna manage the cable here so it doesn't travel with in a what's it called, in a chain link. So let's go do that. So the way to do it is either to, it's probably the best way, just to tie it to the bracket itself. So allow a little bit of slack on the cable so you don't pull, and then just tie the zip tie so the cable doesn't move from that side and the rest of the slack is inside the chain link. Right, I'm gonna, yeah, that's fine. Now the other side, and same in here for the gantry. For this button we're gonna be using so normally this one's labeled to normally closed, to normally open, and ground. So red goes to normally closed, black goes to normally open,
and that ground pin goes to a screw that is something that we're missing then. Yeah, so this is one of the screws that goes here. So that's a small M5 with a washer. So we found use for one of the screws that we have spare. Not too bad. So let's do that quickly. So this is just to ground the frame so you don't shock yourself in case. Right. Ugh. Screwdriver. Oh, come on, nearly there, don't. I need that wrench. It's a bit of a... Ah, that's the one. Okay. Boom, tension. And we are happy. That's not going anywhere. Great. Okay, so there is yellow cable in here. Where's the yellow cables going? Anyone will tell us? It goes here underneath those screws here. So we need Allen key. Again, but this time smaller. Where is my... This is too small, this one. So... ground wire here, like this. Just gonna make sure these screws are nice and tight, not too tight, not to break the aluminium acrylic glass, but no, this moves like this and I don't like this. So should I do on the opposite? I think I should do that on the opposite screws, that way it's not going to dangle. Because there are two kind of screw slots on each side, and I did it in the same height, but that is causing dangling. Okay. So this way, if I now tighten this, come on. Okay. Now I have no dangling. I'm happy. No dangling, meaning it's great. Yeah, Tasca tutorials, sure. I just need to have an, a use case for Tasca, something that comes into my mind and it's kind of like works well. So they said for this cable, they say to cable tie it somewhere. Like I know it has to go all the way here. So this is how much we have, right? So in theory, you could just kind of like cable tie that much of it, which is probably what I'm going to do. Because it's not going to go any further. So that's one to remember. But other than that, I think I have everything connected, guys. Switches are connected. These cables needs to be managed now with a cable tie. So let's do that really quick. Just gonna use two tape cable ties because it's gonna be a little bit easier to do it on each side. All right, and the last one. That way the cables don't move. So now it's gonna be nice and snug. So we can could cable tie this way maybe, and they suggest you cable tie this also from here, so like that maybe. So let's do this. Just don't wrap it around the capacitors, guys. Otherwise you're in trouble. Alright, so the cable is going to be not pulling on the socket directly. And kind of pointing towards the top. Okay, how much slack we have? We have that much slack in here. So I could, in theory, I could do like this and that would be plenty. Just don't know what to do with this one. Can I just like change the orientation of the cables and then manage it? Yeah, I think that would work. So let's do that. Holes in the bracket itself, so I can use these. I'm gonna use the bottom one to make sure that the cable doesn't sag. So if you're gonna do like to this side, then it should keep the cable where I want it. I didn't say anything. I'm just making sure that there is no strain on the connectors. That's the main goal here, to remove the strain from the connectors. Okay, so now I should be able to move everywhere and then cut the stuff, right? So let's see if that's true. No problem. No problem. It's fine. Fine. Okay, so now we can trim stuff that isn't needed. So let me get my trimmers and we'll be able to test this, guys. I'm kind of excited. Let me grab something I can cut with. Here. Okay. So I'm gonna start with the cable ties. Nice and neat. That's trash. There's the one here. Right, I'm probably gonna 3D print a chain in here, or a chain adapter, and that would be nice to have a chain kind of following here. There's no play. Everything looks nice. I mean, the frame is bigger than thing. I need to also cut this because that can get in the way. I'm gonna leave it hanging on the other side. So in here, if I want to change the tension, I'm gonna leave it for now because it's not disturbing and it's enough to kind of pull and create extra tension if you need it. In here there's a tensioner. But yeah, we're pretty much done. I still got a bunch of bolts, which I don't know what they're for. But yeah, we have a laser engraver and a roller for the, if you just joined the stream earlier. I was also building this, which is a roller. Now, where do we plug that in? That's the question. Where do we plug that in? probably gonna plug that into one of the axes, right? So it's either gonna be this axis, x-axis, yeah, or in here. So what happens is you basically, you retain, you take this out, right? Is it? Where's the instructions? Ah. So yeah, you need something like this. So yeah, you disable this movement, you connect to rollers, so you will rotate it and you retain this movement and obviously a laser control. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing we made, guys. Now, does it work? That's the question, right? Yeah, I'm looking all cool because, well, I'm not going to use this one. Can I brace this properly so I could just give it a go? Like, this table is very small. If I'm gonna put it on the floor, I'm gonna set stuff on fire, that's for sure. But I don't think I have anything I can put it on right now to extend this table. I have a bit of a wood I could bring from a garage, but that's obviously a trip and a half. But yeah, but this is built, and hopefully I'll be able to do everything. So this is your kind of like, I don't know, this is how you align this, and there's instructions for this, and yeah, and then you can start engraving stuff. So this is 40 by 40 centimeters, so it's actually quite big when you're considering. That's much bigger than 3D printer in terms of bed space. And yeah, well, how long it is? How long did it take me to do it? Let's have a look at the stream. So the stream doesn't tell me. No, it doesn't. 2 hours, guys. 2 hours it took me to build this with the rollers for the glass. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to probably take it either to a garage or bring stuff from a garage and accommodate for this. And then I'll experiment and yeah. If you want to know whether it's any good, then it's going to be a review coming up soon. And you will find out whether it's worth of your attention and what cool things you can do with it. Obviously, I'll try to come up with some cool plans, and if I also come up with the answers what these are for, then I'll let you know. But for now, I don't know what they are for. So yeah, but it's not falling apart, which is a good indication that they might not be needed. I mean, there are holes in here, so maybe this is to kind of screw it to the very bottom on like this, and I don't know. I'm just making stuff up as I go right now. But yeah, but I have some spare parts, and this seems to be completed, so I'm quite happy with the results. So yeah, over the coming days, there's going to be a couple of fun things, including new gadgets that I have. I have a big stack of boxes I need to go through, and I've been busy with editing something else. And yeah, on Monday, expect things about fights. So for now, guys, thanks so much for joining me on this build. It's always more fun to do it live. Then I get to talk to you about stuff and get frustrated with you guys. Well, not with you guys, but vent my frustrations. But yeah, but that's Ortur Master 2 Pro machine engraver, 5 watts engraver. And I'll find out soon how well it cuts, how well it engraves, and whether I can actually maybe find a different, stronger lasers to make it more fun stuff. So if you're looking forward to a review, it's going to be appearing probably in the next 2 weeks on my website. As for now, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will go and clean up a bit and leave you to your beautiful Saturday. So take care, guys, and see you very, very soon, I promise. Like now, to end this stream, I actually have to find my mouse, which is there. The camera is going to be embarrassingly pointing at me while I'm trying to do so. So you have to forgive me this. Hey camera, I'm here. Yeah, the tracking camera is quite good. Alright, see you later guys. Take care.